Today on Eye on Northwest Politics, the Northwest in for a big year in politics. Races to watch.
I'm running for governor again because Oregon values are on the line.
I announce my candidacy for governor of the great state of Oregon.
And issues that matter to you, including a controversial transportation package now headed to the voters.
How do we solve this? We have to have our roads paved, maintained.
I want to send an overwhelming message to Salem that the voice of the Oregon people cannot be ignored.
Here to go through all of this with me, Dana Haynes, political analyst formerly of the Portland Tribune. An Eye on Northwest Politics special 2026, the year to come, starts now. Welcome to this Eye on Northwest Politics special 2026, the year to come. I'm Ken Boddie. We're about to take you through the races and issues on our radar as the new year begins. And joining me is decades-long journalist, award-winning novelist, and political analyst Dana Haynes, formerly of the Portland Tribune. Dana Haynes is here. Thanks for joining me.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, we've got a lot to talk about in this half hour. So much to get to, including anticipation building for the race for Oregon governor. Candidates already announcing their run, including two familiar faces. Congressional races in the Senate and the House on the way as well. That includes all 6 Oregon districts, as well as the 3rd district in Southwest Washington. And an issue that dragged on throughout spring and summer amid resistance from Oregon Republicans, which will eventually be decided by the voters. We're talking about that $4.3 billion transportation package to fund road operations and maintenance throughout the state. It has sparked a large debate about high taxes in the state. Well, first up, get ready for a rematch. Democrat Governor Tina Kotek likely will take on Republican Christine Drazan. They were the two major contenders for the job in 2022, which Governor Kotek obviously won. Now, in December, I spoke one-on-one with Governor Kotek about the importance of this year's race.
It's a really important choice for Oregonians. You have a choice of, voters are going to have a choice to vote for someone who's going to stand up with them, stand for them, fight for Oregon and the Oregon that we have created here, and continue to build the state that we all love, or someone who's going to stand back and let Donald Trump do what he wants. I say that because not a single one of the folks who have said they want this job have said anything against what the president is doing. And the president is hurting Oregonians right now, taking away their health care, taking away their food benefits, scaring and disappearing our immigrant neighbors. This is happening today. And if you're going to be a governor in this context, in this world, you better have something to say about that.
Christine Drazan joined me in November, right after she announced her run. She told me why she thinks she can win out over the incumbent in the general election, assuming she wins the Republican primary. Other than the obvious factor of Betsy Johnson not running again, what could make the difference for you this time around?
It's Oregonians themselves. I mean, every election is an opportunity for us to decide what vision we want for the future of our state. And I believe that we all deserve better, and that Tina Kotek had her opportunity to lead. She had her opportunity to improve quality of life here, and I don't believe that she's done enough to serve our people. So if you look around our state right now, my question would be, what's different? We have had a new governor in office now for 3 years. What's different? We still have people that are suffering from addiction on our streets everywhere. We still have an extraordinary homeless crisis. We have an economy that's gone backwards. We have housing production that's gone backwards. Everything she said she would do, she's failed to deliver on. And I really believe in a big vision. And I believe that our state deserves to have a leader who really points to a brighter and better future. While Tina pointed to goals for herself, she just did not have the skill set, she didn't have the resources, she did not have the political will to achieve those goals. And that has harmed Oregonians.
So we've got that potential rematch, which is likely to happen. Dana, how do you see the governor's race in 2026?
Well, the party that doesn't have the White House generally does well in midterms, so the Democrats have that going for them. The Democrats have had the Oregon governorship for going back to Vicatia, I mean, traditionally. But Christine Drazan is a true candidate. She really knows how to run well. She's good on her message, good on speaking. I think the governor would make a mistake of looking past this one as, oh, I won it last time, I can win it again. For many, many years, you know this, the Republicans put up kind of odd candidates for governor. And she's not one. She is a legitimate, hard-working, hard-running politico. So I think it's going to be a darn good race. I think it's probably Tina Kotek's to win, but I don't think it's going to be a walk.
Well, the X factor the last time around in 2022 was Betsy Johnson. Well, as I mentioned, there are other contenders in the Republican primary. They include Marion County Commissioner Danielle Bethel. Why are you running?
Well, because I'm ready for somebody to lead this state in a new direction. I believe that we've not had somebody in the governor's office in my career time that actually understands what the job is. And the job specifically is making sure that the safety net systems of care and the progress of the state are healthy and stable, and that has not been the case for several decades. I've been opposed to the governor's transportation policy theories since she's took office. One of the things that the governor has not done since she's become the governor is work with local systems like counties and cities to really understand the fundamental challenges that we have at the grassroots level. The ODOT package does not get us across the finish line. It doesn't even begin to address the giant issue in that agency. The fact that they have misappropriated or lost, in some person's perspective, over $1 billion is completely unacceptable.
And we should mention that Danielle Bethel is now facing a state ethics investigation into whether she used her position to help her children, one to get out of a traffic citation, the other concerning whether she properly disclosed that a company awarded a county contract employed her son. We'll see how that plays out. Now, will other contenders play a role, even a spoiler, Dana, such as Betsy Johnson did in 2022?
No, Betsy Johnson was an outlier. She was popular with the media. She was a quote machine. We all loved interviewing her. She was an outlier. There's nobody going to pop up anywhere near her level.
Yeah, so this is going to be a two-person race.
It is certainly going to be.
Well, 2 years after Janelle Bynum ousted now Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer, she will be back on the ballot in Oregon's purple 5th District. The district includes parts of Deschutes, Marion, Jefferson, Multnomah, and Clackamas counties, and all of Lynn County. In her 2 years as Congresswoman, Representative Bynum has joined us 3 times, and we found that she does not hold back.
Portland is a major city. We have our issues, but we certainly don't have the characterization that Noem and her administration have. So I want to invite them to the Old Spaghetti Factory down on the waterfront for an old spaghetti dinner so that they can walk through and they can see what the ICE facility looks like, because what they're projecting about Portland simply isn't true. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
And of course, she was referring to the time when the president was going to deploy troops, and then that played out in court. That ended up not happening down at the ICE facility. But that was a really contentious time, and people were really staking their claims on that. So you were observing this, and the frog people that were out there in front of the ICE facility, the guy in the chicken suit, all of that. What was your take when you were watching all of that?
I was really, really frightened about the pre-pandemic era when the left wing and the right wing would get together and duke it out in the parks of Portland. And I was just praying that the people who don't like ICE and who don't like the federal policies didn't take the bait and show up with fisticuffs. And what we got is we got the chicken and we got the frogs, which I thought was brilliant. I thought it completely diffused the political issue. Very conservative news outlets were showing the dude in the chicken outfit. It looked silly, it looked goofy, and it's hard to politically fight against looking like a goofball.
Also up for re-election, Oregon 1st District Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, Maxine Dexter in the 3rd Congressional District, Val Hoyle in Oregon's 4th, and in the 6th Congressional District, Andrea Salinas. Now, Washington's 3rd District, a real race to watch. Washington Democratic Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez considered among the most vulnerable in 2026. According to roll call, Gluesenkamp-Perez could have a tougher battle on her hands than she did against Joe Kent, who is now President Trump's Director of Counterterrorism. She's facing Washington State Senator John Braun, the Senate Minority Leader in the Washington legislature. The list suggests that Braun's current role in the Senate and less combative approach may appeal more to Washington's 3rd District voters than Kent's. Roll call suggests Perez's voting record and willingness to veer from Democratic Party lines is likely her strongest appeal to voters in 2026. Now, Dana, Gluesenkamp-Perez is walking a tightrope in a district that voted for Donald Trump in the last election. So how do you think she will fare now that she's facing a more well-known candidate in Washington State in John Braun?
Well, two things. You can't say enough about name recognition. She's run twice. She's won twice. They know her. She's a known commodity. On the other hand, I don't think Kent was that good a candidate. I don't think he ran a great campaign. So she's running against an established guy who has won races. I think she's got a true race on her hands.
Now, next in our Eye on Northwest Politics special, 2026, the year to come, what will the future hold for that $4.3 billion transportation bill that triggered a special session and is now headed to the voters? Dana looks into his crystal ball coming up next. Welcome back to our Eye on Northwest Politics special, 2026, the year to come. On to some other races. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley has been in office since 2009, and in July, he announced he's looking to stick around for another term. In a statement his office sent, confirming his re-election campaign, Merkley said, quote, "We're in the fight of our lives, and I'm not backing down." Dana, Senator Merkley won easily the last time around. Do you see this time around being any different?
Nope, not even. He can walk blindfolded through this one. The only interesting thing about the rumors that he might have stepped down is the same thing that happened when Earl Blumenauer stepped down after decades and decades and decades in the House, is that all of a sudden it unfroze the Democratic field, and you saw a whole bunch of Democrats from the legislature from around the state surge upward wanting that job. The day that Jeff hangs up his cape, or when Senator Wyden hangs up his, we're going to see a real shakeup of the top echelon of Democrats in Oregon. But will this be an actual race? Nah.
Well, Oregon's only Republican member of Congress, Cliff Bentz, came on this show several times throughout the year to discuss a range of topics from the big beautiful bill to delisting the gray wolf as an endangered species. In September, he also talked about how confident he is that he will again carry Eastern Oregon's Congressional District 2 in 2026.
Oh, I will carry the district again, and I want to thank all those folks who supported me. I think I'm the correct, well, I'm from there, I've lived there. I'm the third generation. I think we're on our fifth generation as families, as the Bentz family goes. I very much enjoy bringing my background in that area to Washington, D.C. so I can help on issues like the wolf and water and timber, mining and roads and other things that we absolutely need out here. I will be reelected, and I just want to thank every voter that's helped me get this job, and I hope keep it.
Well, Bentz's possible opposition includes business owner Patty Snow, a Democrat from Ashland, and businesswoman and professional resume writer Dawn Rasmussen of the Dalles, also a Democrat. They joined us for separate interviews in September.
You're right. As a matter of fact, since this district came into being, there have only ever been 2 Democrats in this seat, and there's never been a woman. So it is an uphill battle. But times are very different right at the moment. There is extreme agitation throughout the country, as we are aware, and people are seeing their money go less far. We are seeing some of our rights be eroded. We are seeing the cost of goods go up, and people are angry. They're afraid of losing their health care. So I think that now people are willing to consider someone who might not be in their party, but who has their best interest at heart.
When you look at the big picture, Bentz is directly hurting Oregonians. And I just decided that it's time someone stood up. And I look at it this way. I am not a career politician. I'm an ordinary Oregonian who's working hard, paying my bills. But that doesn't mean I don't have experience. I've kept up with politics. I've volunteered for campaigns, and I deeply believe in community service. That it really, Oregon and its communities are made up of neighbors. So the more we work closely as neighbors, we work towards communities, and that builds the state of Oregon.
So we heard from the 2 Democratic candidates who hope to unseat Cliff Bentz in District 2. Does a Democrat have any chance here?
I would almost say no, because in the last redistricting, some of the bluest parts of that district were taken out. So he lost Democratic registration during that last one. So I would almost say no, except, and this is something you and I talked about a little earlier today, in fact, there are some big cuts heading our way, Medicaid cuts, and a lot of those are going to disproportionately affect the most conservative rural Republican states. We're talking about $15 billion over 6 years, cuts entirely, $3 billion for SNAP, 1 out of 6 Oregonians is on SNAP, or food stamps as we used to call it. $11 billion in Medicaid, 1 in 3 Oregonians are on the health plan, and $1 billion for the Rural Health Initiative. Now, all of those are going to negatively impact his district. Will there be anger over those cuts that are directed towards him because he supported the policies? Yeah, I think there could be. On the other hand, having said that, I think it goes from absolutely no chance that he can get unelected to a slight chance that he could. I think it's of some interest that the Republican National Congressional Committee does not list his seat as one they're worried about. And the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Committee, is listing Bynum's seat as one that they are worried about. So no, I think he's probably going to have a walk, but I also think he's going to have some serious conversations with some constituents in some town halls.
Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson announced in mid-December that she will not run for re-election. She was elected county chair in 2022 after serving for 6 years on the Multnomah County Commission, and before that, she served 2 terms in the Oregon House of Representatives after a stint as a manager at Microsoft. At the time of this taping, no one has emerged to take a run at replacing her as county chair. That will be a ranked choice selection in November of 2026. Well, let's get to that $4.3 billion transportation bill. Democrats couldn't get a transportation bill passed in the regular session, but in a lengthy special session, they were finally able to get it past the finish line in late September. Governor Kotek signed the bill in November, but Republicans say the higher taxes and fees are too much for a state that's already seeing companies leave because of high taxes and regulations. As soon as the governor signed that bill, Republicans and no tax advocates led a petition drive that took only weeks and received more than double the number of signatures needed to get the issue on the November ballot. Well, for now, the state is using existing revenue to pay for transportation and road improvements and to prevent hundreds of layoffs at the Oregon Department of Transportation. Dana, it seems like the no tax folks have some momentum here.
Oh, they certainly do. And the Democrats have got to be wringing their hands because this is the year that they went out and tried to fix this problem with Oregon Department of Transportation just as the affordability becomes the national issue, the absolute dominant national issue out there. The timing couldn't possibly be worse for the Democrats. Just a couple of really quick numbers. The 40-cent gas tax that we're paying would have gone to 46. The $77 in titles fee would have gone to 216. The registration base, if you have a regular passenger car, from $86 to 170. None of those numbers are going to play well in an ad. Not one of them is going to go well with the average voter right now. It's with the average Democrat voter, the average independent voter. So the timing on this, the fact too that the opponents got more than twice the number of signatures they needed and beat the deadline, you got to think right now the Democrats are just sweating bullets over this.
Yeah, at this point, we still need our roads taken care of. We still need to pay those folks at the Oregon Department of Transportation. So people acknowledge that there's a need for these services. What they're not happy about is the price tag.
Yes, absolutely. We have to take care of our roads. We have to take care of our bridges. Vitally, we take care of our highways. No question about it. The timing is just so bad because the number one word is affordability. And it just came at exactly the wrong time.
You think the governor already has a plan B in case this thing goes down in November?
Well, this is the plan B. Remember, it was a much higher number, and they negotiated down and down and down and down. It got to $4.3 billion, and I can't remember where they started, $15 billion or somewhere. So the plan B was the one they actually passed. Now, if you want to say, okay, well, Republicans, what can you live with? By the way, we're losing $6 billion to the decisions that made about health care, and we're already in a cuts budget as is. Things don't look good for money. What's your answer? And if that happens, that could be the fight of this very short 35-day session. That could end up being the number one thing that you and I write about.
Yeah, and federal decisions are going to start kicking in 2026. So we're going to be losing some money in terms of the federal government and the programs that money pays for, correct? And
if you're on Medicaid, you could see a $100+ per month increase in your benefits when the COVID era discounts go away, or $400+ per month increase in your health care costs. That's huge. That plus everything else that's going on, I think is going to be a year that affordability across the nation, right here in Oregon, is the one and only issue.
Well, one big question mark for lawmakers in 2026, since we're talking about transportation, the cost of replacing the interstate bridge between Oregon and Washington. You know, we've been talking about replacing the old bridge for decades now. In late 2023, Washington state lawmakers announced a $600 million federal grant. The project is expected to cost between $5 billion and $7.5 billion. Oregon and Washington state lawmakers expected an updated cost estimate last month, but that was pushed to later this month. Construction still slated to start sometime this year. Dana, is this bridge ever going to get built? I know you were around when we were talking about the Columbia River crossing.
Oh, yes.
You know, we spent about $300 million on just exploring that possibility. That money just went up in smoke pretty much because the project dissipated. So is this bridge ever going to get built?
Two answers to that is that bridge ain't getting any younger. That is an old bridge, and it's got to get replaced. And the second one is these cost estimates never go downward. They're always estimated upward, and they're estimated upward with a billion with a B in it. So the next number we hear is going to make people gulp. It's going to be an absolutely mind-bending number is my prediction for that. Will it ever get built? Well, it's gotta replace that old bridge. But I also think Oregon and to a degree Washington put together a transportation package, not a civic engineering package. What exactly do they need the bridge to do? What is it? What will it benefit? How will it help interstate commerce? How will it help Washingtonians and Oregonians? And I think they focus so much on where do the rivets go and not enough on what's the best thing, what serves, that I don't think it's going to be built real soon.
Dana Haynes, thank you very much for being part of this look ahead for 2026.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We'll be right back. Watch us Sunday at 10 a.m. on our streaming app, KOIN Plus. Thank you for joining us for Eye on Northwest Politics. We'll see you right back here this same time next week.